Keir Starmer's leadership of the Labour Party has descended into a dangerous farce, a spectacle of deceit and double-dealing that insults the intelligence of the very working class he claims to represent. A bombshell investor deck leak has uncovered the disturbing truth behind Labour's economic policies, while publicly positioning itself as the champion of ordinary Britons. Behind closed doors, it has been offering tax cuts, financial perks, and preferential treatment to the world's wealthiest elites. This discrepancy between Labour's public and private positions is not just an embarrassment, it is a betrayal of the very people Starmer professes to serve. It's an open secret that modern politics often involves a degree of compromise, but the gulf between Starmer's public persona and private actions is staggering. The leaked investor document paints a picture of a party that has sold out its principles for financial gain, prioritizing foreign investment and elite interests while further burdening the working class. Starmer's Labour, it appears, is committed to offering the rich a golden ticket to the UK's wealth, while forcing the rest of the country to shoulder an increasingly heavy tax burden. This isn't policy, it's a strategy for enriching the few at the expense of the many. In this investor deck, Labour pledges that its economic policies will support working-class citizens, but it's nothing but a smokescreen. The real agenda is clearly laid out: tax incentives and deregulation tailored for billionaires and foreign investors. Tax advantages are being promised to the very people whose wealth continues to grow unchecked, while the hard-working citizens of Britain face rising taxes and shrinking public services. Labour's public assurances to defend the NHS and public services ring hollow when the true priorities of its leadership are revealed. Instead of focusing on issues like poverty, healthcare, and education, Starmer's Labour is obsessed with courting the global elite. The optics of exclusive meetings with business magnates from countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and India only underscore this disturbing reality. But it gets worse. Starmer's government is not only abandoning the working class, it is actively imposing policies that will devastate family-owned businesses and middle-income owners. The planned cap on agricultural and business relief at £500,000 per person will force many small enterprises to sell off their assets simply to cover their tax bills. Family farms, the backbone of rural Britain, will be sacrificed on the altar of financial expedience, generating a projected £22.3 billion in additional revenue by 2029. What's the price of that revenue? Generations of hard work destroyed, local communities destabilized, and yet more families forced to bear the brunt of a government that purports to stand for them. Meanwhile, the wealthy investors, whom Starmer has courted with abandon, are insulated from the very burdens Labour imposes on the rest of the country. These billionaires won't be forced to make the same sacrifices as the middle class. They are being offered sweet tax deals, preferential treatment, and access to financial opportunities that the rest of us will never see. Labour's actions betray its rhetoric, revealing a deep cynicism that will have lasting consequences. This is not the Labour Party of Clement Attlee, or even Tony Blair. This is a Labour Party that has lost all sense of its core mission, to represent the working class. And what of the NHS, the jewel in the crown of British public services? Starmer has repeatedly promised to defend the NHS, yet his government is failing to deliver the funding necessary to keep it afloat. One of the most heartbreaking consequences of this policy shift is the funding crisis faced by children's hospices, which are now on the brink of collapse due to a £5 million shortfall. For every promise of safeguarding public services, the reality is that vital services like children's hospices are left to struggle, starved of funding while billionaires continue to receive preferential treatment. The reality of Starmer's economic policies is not just a betrayal of his party's traditional values, it is a betrayal of the British people. Labour has become the party of the rich, not the working class. The very policies that Labour once denounced under the Conservative government are now the foundation of its own agenda. Tax hikes on small businesses, national insurance hikes that threaten job growth, and capital gains tax increases that will decimate the financial security of middle-income Britons. All of this is being presented to the public as a necessary measure to fund public services. Yet, when it comes to securing the financial interests of foreign investors and the ultra-wealthy, there is no hesitation. This cannot go unchallenged. The people of Britain deserve better than this. They deserve a Labour Party that stands by its commitments, that places the needs of ordinary citizens above the demands of the global elite. It is time for Starmer to face the consequences of his actions, to answer for the policies he's implementing in secret, and to restore some semblance of integrity to his leadership. If he continues down this path, Labour will not only lose the support of its traditional base, but it will also forfeit the opportunity to lead the country with any moral authority. The damage has been done, but it's not too late for Starmer to change course. He must choose. Will he continue to protect the interests of the wealthy, or will he stand up for the ordinary British citizens who are being pushed to the margins? The clock is ticking, and the people are watching.